was one thing, but
Yeah.
if you want something else, you have to start to make different kind of choices every day. And if you are consistent enough, and you have like aims, goals, and you commit every day, there's possibility to get something better.
Leaders Talk, Season 2.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It is your favorite time of the week. It's my favorite time of the week. It's time for Leaders Talk, and I am, as always, your intrepid host, Andrew Dupy, head of communications here at Leaders Brand. And today I have with me Jani Havunen. And I hope you got your name right.
Almost.
As we didn't practice that beforehand. Jani, though, is a Finnish entrepreneur. He's a legal advisor. He is an international business strategist with an LLM from King's College in London. But before that, he was a young man that was in survival mode, trapped in addiction, poison cycles, and self-destruction. His transformation made him from an intimate global advisor, speaker, owner, and now he's an author and also a speaker. And what he has done is not only possible, it's repeatable. It's rebuilding. Jani, that's interesting. So let our audience know a little bit about what that means.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. First of all, now everybody got some kind of clue that what I'm doing at the present moment, and what a little bit about my past. But I could describe it that what you didn't hear is that I had a shit life.
Yeah.
Until I pulled my own head out of my ass.
Well, and we all probably need to do that at one point or another.
So, I will summarize this now in 3 phases. 1, survival. 2, strategy. 3, structure. Having a shit life means that I lived in survival mode for a long time. It began when I was young and I had quite traumatic childhood. And I moved on my own because of the circumstances at the age of 15.
Yeah.
And you can imagine that at that age particularly, freedom without guidance can lead to chaos.
Oh, I know. And I teach 15-year-olds in my day job. I know.
Yeah. So eventually that led into a prison. And we could start phase 2 from here. And it's like I said, it's strategy. During my sentence and before that, before I got to prison, I think that I intentionally learned something about human mind. And when I was doing my sentence, I started to think that if I cannot live the life in a way that I have lived until now, and I started to educate myself. I started to, among other things, study psychology, and through self-awareness, I applied metacognition. So I started to recognize my internal processes and patterns. And
Yeah. So I mean, you built out something that was you had to. You had no choice.
Yeah,
So you built a way to strategize from a position of we'll just say you were backed into a corner.
yeah. So uh, after that, I started to strategize my life.
Right.
And that one part of the strategy is that I started to educate myself, and through that, I established my companies. I established my first company. But before that, I enrolled high school, which I went through in 2 years. And before I graduated from high school, I already enrolled the Open University in Finland.
Mhm.
And through that, when I learned different kind of things, I also started to apply them into a so I could turn them into an income.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so amazing to me though, because I mean, again, as someone who is an educator, and everybody knows that watches this that I am, I've run into situations where people that are in your position or were in your position where you were, they check out. It's like my life is over. It's done. This is now institutionalization in America is a thing. It's like I'm just going to continue in an institution and I'm never going to get out, and that's going to be my thing. There's no such thing as rehabilitation. But you seem to be, I mean, I guess maybe the Finnish system is a little different. You seem to be something that is an actual, tangible example of not only rehabilitation, but rebuilding a life from this.
Yeah. When I started this transformation, I had to make decision,
Yeah.
and the decision was to change my life. And to change my life, I also had to start to change my identity, because identity is a big part of our life. So I cannot. I thought that with my old identity, which I had in my former life, I cannot continue. So I had to start from deep inside
Right.
this
Yeah.
change
You have to
process.
find something to move forward with. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I told you, I started to strategize. I started to make plans, because when you're living in survival mode, you are running away from things. For example, your
Mhm.
feelings.
Yeah.
That's one thing. And when I educated myself with psychology, I started to recognize my feelings, and I started to get comfortable with my feelings. That's one big part of the beginning of the change process.
Mm.
And I make decision that, and I committed to that decision every day after that, when I made the first big decision. So the thing is that, what is there's no one big point, but the thing is what you do after you have made the decision.
Right.
And that's strategy. And when we are living on a strategy mode, it means that, like I told you, I have to commit every day
Mhm.
to what I'm building toward. In survival mode, we are running out of things. In strategy mode, we are going toward something, toward
Right.
our goals, toward our new identity, towards our new things. But that's in strategy mode. We have to be intentional all the time, and that's we can think that it's not, you cannot be in strategy mode whole of your life.
Right.
That's exhausting. So I started to educate myself. I established my first business, because I thought that with my CV after that kind of life, I could say that many of the
That's the only way. Yeah, that's the only position to start.
yeah.
Let's just rip it off and go ahead and build a business.
So yeah, and that's the case that I thought that if I go with my CV, which was quite empty at the moment
Mhm.
at that point, so if I go with that and try to get some job, I will be laughed out of the table. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and my nature is I'm also an entrepreneur, so that's one other thing.
Yeah.
And then when we are in strategy mode, moving toward something, and we are doing consistent work every day, at some point that will turn into a structure. And structure means that it will be everything, or those things what you have to have done intentionally every day. They will be transformed to automatic. So they will be automatic things. You don't have to every day think that I have to do this. It will be automated.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love what you're saying because this is a lot of people think that being an entrepreneur is I go to college, I get my degrees, I do my work, and then after that, I go into business. But anyone that watches this show, over the last 3 years, we've seen that the vast majority of people who have been successful entrepreneurs, that's not the path they have taken. And your path is a little different, but it seems to be that, that sometimes failing is what actually gives you the impetus to then move beyond and begin to succeed. So I mean, is that kind of the thing that pushed you?
I think that's one thing. The past, and I started to think that living life like that was one thing, but
Yeah.
if you want something else, you have to start to make different kind of choices every day. And if you are consistent enough, and you have like aims, goals, and you commit every day, there's possibility to get something better.
Right.
And that kind of past is one part of the fuel what I had.
Yeah, I mean, it's a driving force. So,
Yeah.
what then maybe inspired you to begin to share this with everybody in a book?
uh, I think that when I was living my life, nobody handed over me a map at
Right.
any point of my life. So I thought that there's also people in this world who may need a map, and maybe also nobody gives that map to them. So with the past lived life, I thought that I could turn this into a tool for those kind of people who would need a map. So I write it down. So now there's a map for
Right.
people who are searching, for example.
Right. That's really good because, and you're right, there isn't really one because, I mean, I'm not going to denigrate my other profession. Education doesn't always show you the way, does it? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
learning books, learning the way that we think is you should learn does not always show you the path that actually gets you where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, so you're building something then, an entrepreneurial system that people can maybe take on that don't necessarily have the background that we think everybody should have, the college system, the high
Mm-hmm.
school system in America, the
Mm-hmm.
way that they're supposed to learn, take your test, do your things, make your grades, and then get through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you say kind of to that?
Do you mean that? Yeah, in my book,
Yeah.
there's you can have this kind of you can be lost in different kind of environments.
Right.
It's just not one environment, and it's not just one way to go like out of there. It's you can apply this to different kind of environments. Not everybody wants to go high school, or not everybody wants to go university. You can do also another kind of things. And you can be lost in different kind of environments. You don't have to have like background like I have. So that's this is only one example.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of the point. It's like there's a lot of different ways you can go at it. You don't necessarily have, but I'm impressed that you were able to build this within yourself. Where a lot of people, again, they just kind of give up. What do you say to people that are in situations like yours that say, I'm just gonna give up. I'm not gonna, this is my life now. I have failed at one point, and now it's all over. And I'm just going to now for 20, 40, 50 years say, this is all that I am.
Being in a survival mode is not the end. It's
Right.
the beginning. And it doesn't matter how many times we fall in our lives. The thing what counts is that how many times we get up. That's the one thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's I could say that don't give up. That's not
Yeah.
an option. Do not give up. Even I don't. It's all the same what kind of past you have or difficult you have. We can always find a solution.
Yeah,
That's
and I've been there myself, and I've had after divorce and I've been lucky enough to be with this company for almost 10 years. But even after that, I felt in myself an utter wasteland of what am I going to do? Yeah, I'm just going to keep doing the same thing, and why should I keep doing it? And those are dark thoughts. I'm sure you were in the same thing, and you're right. You hit a survival mode. You hit something that says, "I am now just going to survive. I'm going to do whatever I can to just make it to the next day." And
yes.
how do you break past it, though? I mean, I have, you have, both of us have managed to get past that. I kind of know what your answer is, but what's the point where you say, I am no longer a survivor and I am now going to, in the words of the Shawshank Redemption, I am going to get busy living
Yeah.
or get busy
Yeah.
dying?
There was
Yeah.
During my journey, there was I could say there was a small pivot all around. This transformation, it's just not as it didn't was for me just one moment. It was
Right.
series of small pivots all around my life. And the one thing is when the so-called glass of water, the last drop filled this glass of water and it overflowed.
Mm-hmm.
That's I could describe that moment as like that, but it wasn't just one moment. It was the moment like I described that I took my head out from my own ass. And
Yeah.
everything starts with self-awareness. That's the key. Maybe when the glass filled and overflowed, that could mean that I just I had enough. I had enough from that state, and I started to use self-awareness. So I started to reflect where I'm now at this moment, what kind of past did I had before that, and where I want to go. So if I continue, and I cannot continue, if I continue doing the same things in the same environment, etc., the outcome will be always the same. And
right. Yeah. It's
actually,
that thing. It's like if you continue to do the same thing, your results will never change. Yeah.
And the psychology was good thing for me, because when I started to read the first book, and I started immediately apply the knowledge to my own life. So I started to have answers. That kind of questions that I even didn't know that they exist. This is the how it happened, and I started really to be self-aware. Recognize my feelings, thought that what led to, and what thing led to another in my past life, and what was the reason for that, and why I'm doing things like this. And that struck me. Then I just made the decision that's now that it ends now.
Right. But that I think is very important, because I think that people don't think they're allowed to make that decision.
Yeah, and the main problem is that if the person does not understand that he is in that kind of situation, that's one thing. So we have to recognize the patterns and the environment where we are living, and the patterns, like in internal patterns.
Right. Yeah. And that makes a really good point. Is like you don't really necessarily understand when you're in survival mode.
Yeah.
Some people don't get that. They don't understand that they've moved to that kind of living, and that can really lead to some bad places, because when you're in survival mode and you don't come out of it, that's when you can accept a lot of really, really, really harsh decisions, isn't it?
Yeah, and part of my transformation process, I had to, as I started to change my identity, I also had to change my environment, because environment is quite big part of our lives, and there's things what affects you in quite enormous way. So to change my identity and change to succeed in the transformation process, I had to change the environment that also includes that kind of things, that I had to cut ties to my old life almost completely.
Right. Yeah. You have to break out. You have to start something fresh.
Yeah.
And I see that as a teacher all the time. It's like with students that are in positions where they're in bad groups. To succeed, they have to break those groups and begin again. Yeah.
Yes. And that's the power of the group it's significant.
Right.
Because individual perceives himself as a part of group, as a part of some group. And when you are in part of some group, you have to be strong to take and leave the group. You have to have willpower. But
well, yeah, possible. Because humans are social animals. I mean, we've gone back to the you go back millions of years. We fought the panthers at the gates of the cave together, and that's how humans have always built, and we always have that internal thing. We want to be part of a group. Always.
Yep.
So to move from that group, if it's negative, is a hard mental thing.
Yes, and that is almost that I had to cut big part of my old identity off.
Right.
That's brutal.
It is. Yeah. Because it's anti-human.
Yeah.
It's anti. It is literally anti what's coded into our brains. So I mean, Yanni, this is really good stuff. But kind of as we're grinding down to a close, I kind of want you to just leave us maybe with a little bit of a golden nugget. And we're going to talk about your book just for a little bit to get everybody there. But I think we've had a lot of them here because this is I love this conversation. But what do you want our audience to know? What's something that you want to leave with them that if they see this that can really just resonate with them and hold them up?
I could say that, as I already mentioned earlier, but I can reframe it this in more detail. I could say that change is not one dramatic moment.
Yeah.
It's the thing what you build after the decision. And most people they don't fail because they lack potential or intelligence. They fail because they misunderstand the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Survival keeps you alive. Structure sets you free.
I like that. I really do, and it resonates with me again because I've been in your position, not as much as you have, but I think we all have, and I think that all of us can take something away from that. Yanni, I want to have you back on because I want to go deeper into this, but tell us a little bit about your book and how people can find you.
Book's name is Shit Life to Self-Made. And it's maybe somebody thinks he thinks that it sounds a little blunt, but it's the truth.
It's the truth. There you go. Yeah.
It's unpolished truth. And I already explained to shit life, the concept of shit life, what I mean by shit life. And self-made it's not, usually the first impression of self-made for people is that self-made means success. But in this case, self-made means that when I made the decision to change, I took accountability of my life. I stopped blaming myself and others and the past, and I stopped completely that kind of things.
Right.
And that's self-made. Self-made. I built myself from the scratch again. That's self-made. And the core structure of the book is what I used also in the beginning. So first is survival, then it's strategy, and then it's structure. That's the core of my book, and I strongly recommend to read it if somebody feels.
I'm going to pick it up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend you do, because I think that a lot of what Yanni said here resonates with almost everybody. So those links are right down below. Go ahead and click on them. And Yanni, I want to have another follow up on this. Let's talk some more. I think this was a good episode, and I think that we have only kind of scratched the surface on what people can learn about in regards to your book. But thank you so much, though, for being here. And thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it. And absolute best of luck in everything you're doing.
I'm lucky that I'm lucky that I can be here, and great. Thank you for having me here, and definitely we can continue from this.
Let's do it again.
It would be quite interesting.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here, and we're out.